always like to say that the church is made up of saints and sinners. And what I mean by that is looking throughout the church history, we can see that there have been many holy people, people who love God, other people, and who help make the world a better place for everyone. Also, sadly, looking throughout history, the church has also had many people who go to church and call themselves Catholic, but seem to hurt a lot of people. And they hurt people in different ways. One way is through the attitudes they have, by looking down on other groups of people. And I'm going to give you a few examples today. Years ago in the US, history shows us that there were white Catholics that looked down on black Catholics. And we even had separate churches, churches for black Catholics that were more poor and run down, compared to churches for white Catholics that were much nicer and much better run, and black people weren't allowed to attend them. We've even had churches that had both black and white Catholics, but where black Catholics had to sit up in the mezzanine or balcony, and the main floor was reserved for white Catholics. Black Catholics were deemed second class. So over the last 70 years or so, the church bishops have tried to remedy this and make the church a place of equality. We can also look at the issue of autism. Autism is where hearing people tend to look down upon deaf people as being inferior. They may be skilled at communicating and working with deaf people, but their attitude is still one of where deaf people need to be helped and taken care of, because deaf people can't help themselves. And that is in the church as well. We've seen some priests and nuns and deacons, or even hearing church workers who work with deaf parishioners, or who have worked with deaf parishioners, look down on deaf people and have that attitude. Looking at deaf people as if they're not able to make decisions for themselves and not able to run things within the church. This has gotten better in the last 30 years, where people are understanding that deaf people are just as capable as hearing people, and that they're now much more involved in the decision-making processes within the church. And we've seen these issues come up from time to time, and one specifically that Pope Francis is trying to address is the issue of clericalism. Clericalism refers to where bishops, priests, nuns, deacons look down upon lay people that aren't priests or nuns. And the church has been trying to remedy this over the past years, trying to recognize that lay people can make unique and significant contributions through their skills to the church, and that it's the clergy's job, priests and nuns, to help them spread the good news and Jesus' teachings. So why am I talking about all of this today? Well, because today in the first reading, it speaks of a group of men who went into a holy tent and received the Holy Spirit and the gift of prophecy. And when they came out, they noticed there were two other men who had also received the gift of prophecy, but they weren't in the holy tent. And they were upset because those two men outside got the gift of prophecy. And today's gospel also talks about how the disciples saw one man use Jesus' name to perform a miracle. The disciples complained to Jesus about this, and Jesus said, "Don't worry, it's okay." God continues to challenge us. We tend to get into these groups where we all share the same attitude, and we look down on other groups that aren't like us, or other people that aren't like us. But the gospel reminds us that we're all equal, and that we need to love each other equally, and that we all have unique gifts and contributions that we can bring to the church. So today it's possible that the gospel inspires us to look deep within ourselves, to examine our own attitudes towards other people, and to try and improve those attitudes. And we have to try and remember that even though people might be different than us, we need to love them and appreciate them for what they can contribute so that we can all work together collectively to prepare for eternity with the Father in heaven. Thank you, and God bless you.